Astrid Bugling, and I am the director of this performance. I'd like to welcome you to the Chilliwack Players Guild second show of the radio play series. Woo-hoo! A Pearl in the Hand, yeah, woohoo! A Pearl in the Hand by Austin Stone. This production was last aired by BBC in London, England in the 1950s. Today, it will be its second airing since that time. You are the first audience to hear it since then. I'd like to take a moment to ask you please to turn off any cell phones or anything that's going to make any sounds or noises. That would be lovely. Also, if you need to exit the theater for any reason, there's the door where you came in. There's also another door there. You see the two exit signs there. And I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors. We have season sponsors, Locks Pharmacy, Pioneer Buildall, Prime Signs, and Lester Investments. We also have media sponsors, 89.3 The Drive, the Star FM, 98.3 Star FM, and it's 89.5 The Drive, and the Chilliwack Progress. We also have radio play series sponsors, just specifically for the radio play series. That is Dickens Suites and Next Gen Hearing. Thank you so much for the sponsors. We really appreciate it. And now I'd like the cast to introduce themselves. Please rise.
Hi, I'm Ed Stone. I'm the narrator for the play.
My name is Glenn Howard. I'll be voicing Mr. Goldstein.
I'm Ken Finn. I'll be Inspector. Just wait a second. Cameron.
Hello, I'm Judy Weller, and I will be the owner of Valenti's Restaurant and the second guest.
Hi, I'm Zach Loescher, and I will be playing the Sergeant.
I'm Brian Cutler, and I'll be playing Max Sylvester.
I'm Dennis Ratcliffe, and I'm the first guest, Dixon, and a policeman.
I'm Steve Saunders, and I will be playing Hiram B. Cordell.
Hi, my name is Tricia Knight-Good, and I am Mr. Myers' clock.
Doug Wickers, Marcel Meyer.
Ralph Jones, and I'll be playing Arthur Pickman, Cockney Roadstreet.
I'm Barbara Briefly, and I'll be playing Rose Carley, Barney.
I'm Carl Loescher, and I play the landlord, owner of Car and Hassel.
I'm Derek Kennedy, and I play Morris as well as Cole.
Paul Dirksen, and I play Rock. Stephen Willite, and I play LaFarge.
Woo!
Sorry, Maggie got cut off. That's Maggie Saunders, the folio artist.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to introduce Ed Stone to start.
Thank you, Astrid. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming to this, our second of 5 radio plays written for the BBC by my father, Austin Stone, and which over the next 2 years are scheduled for performances by the Chilliwack Players Guild. Before we start, I'm interested to know how many of you were able to see our last play, An Affair of Honour. Get our hands up. Great, good stuff. Well, you will be pleased to know that this time there are no gunshots. There will, however, be many strange sounds which we are hoping you will recognize. As in all my dad's plays, many of the original cast went on to be famous actors. In this case, the part of Inspector Cameron was performed by John Laurie. Some of you may know that name, but he went on to play Private Fraser in the long-running BBC comedy series Dad's Army. Today's play, A Pearl in the Hand, is based on the infamous Hatton Garden pearl robbery of 1913, where in today's money more than $20 million in pearls were stolen. Without giving too much away, my father had described the play as follows. The main interest lies in the movements and the ultimate fate of the pearls, which is exactly in accordance with the plot, development, and most incredible of all, with the final twist of the play. Hatton Garden has been a well-known jewellery centre in the UK for several hundred years. There are currently over 300 linked businesses in 55 major jewellery stores. Subsequently, Hatton Garden has also had its history of many robberies. During the last century or so, Not least, the incredible 2015 safe deposit burglary, which was recently made into a film named King of Thieves, starring Michael Caine, Tom Courtenay, and Ray Winston. For those of us like me who are interested in genealogy, Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe was most upset during the BBC's Who Do You Think You Are show, which indicated that his great-grandfather, who owned a diamond jewelry store in Hatton Garden, committed suicide in 1936 after he was accused by the police of having faked the crime for an insurance payout on the third robbery. An excellent book called The Great Pearl Heist, written in 2012 by Molly Caldwell Crosby, covered the 1930 story in great depth. What made me smile was that a newspaper review had questioned why, after all this time, there had never been a film made about this amazing robbery. I smiled because, along with my father's original script for this play, I found a 10-page movie synopsis attached, A Pearl in the Hand, which my father sent to the movie studios in Walton-on-Thames as a suggestion for making this into a movie. He never received a reply, as far as I am aware. For anyone interested, when you leave the theatre, I have the original play scripts in the lobby for some of the plays we are doing, along with the movie synopsis document. Also, for anyone who did not already get a copy of my dad's last book, Missing Murder Suspected, there are copies for sale in the lobby. We do hope you enjoy this show as much as we have had putting it together for you. I would like to thank my CPG colleagues for their involvement and participation in this play. A special thanks to Astrid Bugling for directing and Deborah Archer for producing the play. And now, ladies and gentlemen, A Pearl in the Hand. My part's nearly over, by the way. Shortly before the First World War, there occurred in London one of the most daring and sensational jewel robberies of all time. Certainly the most valuable haul of pearls in the history of Hatton Garden. But the story really begins a few months earlier, at lunchtime in Valetti's restaurant in Piccadilly.
I have been robbed in broad daylight of all my diamonds, the very stock in trade of my business. What good are the police? What good are you, the proprietor of this restaurant? I am a ruined man. Ruined, I tell you.
Mr. Goldstein, relax. Please relax. I can only assure you that this most dreadful occurrence is almost as great a blow to the restaurant as to yourself. In all my 20 years in this restaurant.
Yes, but that will not bring back my diamonds.
And yet, they must have been insured, Mr. Goldstein.
For less than 1/3 of their value. Nearly £40,000 worth of precious stones was in that bag, I tell you, snatched from under my nose. And why? Because you permit crooks, criminals, thieves to take lunch in here in disguise. But what good is it to say that now when I am ruined?
Mr. Goldstein, Scotland Yard officers are on their way here this minute. Such a crime cannot go undetected for long. Rest assured, the diamonds will be returned.
Now, Mr. Goldstein, all these recriminations won't help in the slightest. My name is Cameron, Detective Inspector Cameron of Scotland Yard. Let's have the details quietly and coherently.
I came to this restaurant to take luncheon today. I come here most days. It is my habit.
Is it also your habit to carry stones of that value around on your person?
Certainly.
But you have an awful strong room.
Oh, if I were to leave my diamonds in a safe, in Hatton Gardens of all place, do you suppose I should get a wink of sleep at night? As for luncheons, I would give myself the indigestion thinking of it.
So you carried them around in a small leather bag wherever you went. Well, go on, Mr. Goldstein.
Today, I leave my friends in the foyer while I go to wash and brush up. Again, as usual. I place the bag on the basin next while I'm doing so. There are only 2 other men in here beside myself while I am yet in the midst of my ablutions. one of them suddenly seizes the bag and makes off with it as quick as lightning. As I make a dash to follow him, the other trips me up and I fall heavily in the doorway. By the time I recover, both villains have got clean away, taking with them my diamonds,
Can you give a description of these two men, Mr. Goldstein?
Both were sturdy. One was dark, the other not so dark. The dark creature, he wore a mustache, yes. I remember now, he had some slight disfigurement. A scar between the eye and nostril. I happened to notice his face in the mirror above the wash basin.
A scar, eh? Between the eye and the nostril. And did you happen to notice whether that scar was shaped like a letter C in reverse?
Possibly. I was not too observant at the time.
But good enough to go on with, I think. Sergeant?
Sir?
It seems I was right the first time. This looks like another of Sylvester's jobs. And one of the men was Scarface O'Grady. Now take a couple of men and pull O'Grady in as soon as possible. You know his district. It ought to be easy enough.
Right, sir.
And Sergeant, keep clear of the lodging house as he may slip through your fingers. Pick him up in the street or any public place. You'll have an alibi, of course, but hold him on suspicion. We'll search his rooms later.
Right, sir.
You know the villain who stole my diamonds, Inspector. You will get them back from me.
From your bare description, Mr. Goldstein, the odds are that one of the actual thieves was a man called O'Grady, well known to us. But I'm willing to bet a month's pay that already the diamonds are no longer in his possession. No, this was a very carefully planned robbery, Mr. Goldstein. And O'Grady hasn't the brains to organize a job of that kind. Obviously, you've been watched for weeks. Every habit noted, and in particular, your habit of bringing the diamonds out to lunch with you.
But this is damnable! Heinous!
And I'm also willing to bet that the mastermind behind it all was a man by the name of Sylvester. Max Sylvester. I smelt his hand in this from the start.
Then what are you waiting for? Arrest this Max Sylvester at once.
I've been trying to do that for just 5 years, Mr. Goldstein. Unfortunately, the police need something more than suspicion, however strong, before making an arrest. For years now, we suspected Sylvester of being a fence.
A fence?
Yes, a receiver of stolen goods. And not only a fence, but an organizer of large-scale robberies confined to the jewelry trade. They sometimes call him Diamond Sylvester, because of the rings crammed on all his fat fingers. But he's a mighty slippery customer, one of the cleverest men in London. We've never been able to prove a thing.
But this other one, this O'Grady, whom you are going to arrest, surely he will confess all under pressure. My God, you must torture him until he does.
I'm afraid it's not quite so simple as that, Mr. Goldstein. The true saying about honor among thieves, and Max Sylvester certainly looks after his flock. If one of them is unlucky enough to fall into our hands and receive a prison sentence, he and his dependents are well cared for. And when he comes out again, he has lost little but a year or so of liberty. And there's a faithful dog bite the hand that feeds it. I tell you, Mr. Goldstein, that no amount of pressure, as you call it, is going to induce O'Grady to talk.
And in the meantime, my diamonds.
No, you have my sympathy, sir. At the present stage, I can offer little else. And yet, who knows, this may prove to be the one time when Max Sylvester has been just a little bit too clever. Now let's have a detailed description of those missing stones.
I know you two will not be over-inquisitive as to the source of my little acquisition. I also thought it wiser to ask you to dine here at my house.
Sounds as if you've got something pretty good this time, Sylvester.
Have you ever known Max to waste time on anything that wasn't mighty good?
There, take a look for yourselves. Friends, but don't let the soup go cold. 23 diamonds in that necklace, and you can break them up twice over, and they'd still be fit for a duchess, eh?
Why, it's magnificent!
But highly dangerous stuff, if I know anything. What's your idea of the price, Max?
Dangerous stuff, as you say, but my price is correspondingly reasonable. Shall we put it at, what the blazes? Quick, give me that necklace.
All right, get back to your kitchen now and wait there.
Why, Inspector Cameron, how precipitous.
I'm sorry to interrupt your little dinner party, Sylvester.
Not at all, Inspector. Sit down. Have a drink.
Think you know.
A cigar, then.
This is not a social call, Sylvester. To begin with, I thought you'd be interested to know that we picked up O'Grady this morning.
O'Grady, huh? You mean sweet Rosie O'Grady.
I think you know just who I mean, Sylvester. He has been identified by Mr. Goldstein as one of the 2 men concerned in the theft of the bag of diamonds from Valetti's restaurant earlier today.
Indeed. And how bad for the police, unless, of course, they have recovered the diamonds also.
At the moment, I'm concerned in particular with the diamond necklace. I've a warrant to search this house, Sylvester, and I'm going to start by frisking that smug Copland body of yours.
Oh, I see. For some reason you suspect I may be in possession of these missing necklace. I would laugh longer and louder, Inspector Cameron, if the whole intrusion were not an insult to my 2 guests.
Yes, visitors on premises. I'm afraid I shall have to subject them to search also. After that, they are at liberty to continue the meal.
No, search me by all means, Inspector, but I'll be getting along.
Me too.
Friends, please. I beg you to remain seated. Are you going to sacrifice a good dinner just because Inspector Cameron is here to carry out his duty? You know our English police, the finest in the world, yet they're never happy unless they're suspecting someone. Meanwhile, it's up to good citizens like ourselves to give them every cooperation, and above all, not take offense. Here, Inspector, my keys. I shall be happy to assist you personally in your search.
Very good of you, I'm sure, Sylvester. Sergeant?
Sir?
Take these keys. You and the others begin at the roof and work downwards. Every nook and cranny. I'll join you presently.
Right, sir.
Now, Sylvester, I'll tell you to remove your jacket.
Anything you say, Inspector. But please be careful not to crush the cigars in the top pocket. They are expensive ones. Oh, and should you see fit to slit open the lining, would that entitle me to a new dinner suit? I could do with a new one, you know.
That won't be necessary, Sylvester. When you search as many garments as I have in my time, you don't need to slit open any linings. The fingers become so sensitive to the touch as those of a blind man. Now just be good enough to raise both arms above your head. Higher, please. Straight up. That's better.
Oh no, Inspector, please. You're tickling me. You're tickling me, Inspector. No.
Well, that's about it, Sergeant, I'm afraid.
And we haven't overlooked a speck of dust, sir. Unless, of course, that housekeeper...
No, I checked up on her ages ago. Just a simple-minded old crone. You wouldn't trust her beyond the kitchen pans.
Well, Inspector Cameron, are you satisfied at last?
You win, Sylvester, but it's just another round. One of these days will be the final count.
You should have taken my word in the first place, Inspector. It would have saved so much time and trouble. And besides, my soup would not have been allowed to go cold.
Good night, Sylvester, but not goodbye. Come on, you fellows.
Holy Moses, Sylvester, that was a close one.
You nearly had all 3 of us in for it, Max. But I still don't understand. What the devil?
My deepest apologies, my friends. Cold pea soup is so revolting, but at any temperature, it is an excellent hiding place for...
Good heavens, the diamond necklace!
So that's where you put it, in the soup!
Good morning. Is this Mr. Marcel Meyer's office?
Yes, sir.
Would Mr. Meyer be in right now?
What name shall I?
Cordell. Hiram B. Cordell of Kansas City. I have a letter of introduction here from the London Goldsmiths Corporation.
I'll tell Mr. Meyer. Will you come through, sir?
Thanks.
This way, please, sir. Mr. Cordell to see you, sir.
Who? Pardon me, Cordell. The name is Hiram B. Cordell of Kansas City. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Meyer. I guess you can blame the Goldsmiths Corporation for this little visit.
Indeed. Won't you sit down, Mr.
Cordell. Thanks. You don't know me, of course, but back home my name is something of a household word, I guess. Oh, I'm in the canned meat business, and I do pretty good, you understand?
Of course.
Have a cigar.
Thank you, but I don't smoke.
No? Oh, well, maybe you'll live all the longer for it, Mr. Meyer. You know, I've heard an awful lot about this Hatton garden of yours, but you got nothing like it in the States. Sure never guessed that one day I'd find myself right here in the very pulse center of the world market in precious stones.
And just what can I do for you, Mr. Cordell?
Well, it's this way, Mr. Meyer. I'm only in Europe for a short spell, partly business and partly vacation, you understand. But I left the family behind this time. Now, when I want to go back, I want to take the wife a little present.
You mean a gift of some jewelry?
Sure, pearls. She's just crazy about pearls.
Most women are, Mr. Cordell.
I guess you're right there, but what I take home has got to come straight from the stable, so to speak. That's why I inquired for the name of the biggest and most dependable dealer in pearls in Hatton Garden. In other words, that's why I'm right here in your office, Mr. Meyer. Oh, you may...
Thank you. I take it you have in mind a pearl necklace for your wife?
Sure, that's the idea, but it's got to be something mighty good, Mr. Meyer. It's got to be the real McCoy. I want the wife to have something that's going to make the folks back home sit up and let their breath go out. All in a rush. You got me?
I think I understand what it is you have in mind, Mr. Cordell. At the same time, I should point out that pearls, such as you describe, are both rare and very costly.
So what? I'm willing to pay, Mr. Meyer, but only for the real stuff. I tell you, oh, I forgot. You'll find the name of my bankers at the foot of that letter. If you want any more dope on Hiram B. Cordell, just call up the American Express and they'll hand it out.
Thank you, Mr. Cordell. In the meantime, you would doubtless care to see some samples?
Sure.
We could then decide if it is possible to make up a necklace to your requirements. Come in.
You rang, sir?
Yes. Please, to lock and bolt the outer door, I am going to open the safe.
Very good, sir.
You don't take any chances, huh?
One cannot be too careful. Besides, it's only fair to the insurance companies to exercise elementary precautions.
And this Hatton Garden must sure be a big temptation to the crooks, huh?
Indeed. Why, only 2 months ago, a colleague of mine, a Mr. Goldstein, was robbed of valuable diamonds in broad daylight.
He was?
Yes. There.
Well, what do you know?
You are looking at some of the finest pearls in the world, Mr. Cordell.
Gee, I'll say I am. I have seen some beads in my time, but I guess I never saw them clustered like bunches of grapes before. Say, I'm thinking it's a mighty good job the wife isn't here right now. She'd be wanting to take the whole darn lot. Now let's get down to business, huh? You can make me up a necklace from some sort of lot?
Possibly. But I doubt you appreciate, Mr. Cordell, that in order to create a necklace such as you obviously require, every pearl has to match and also be graded. There's a good deal more to it than most people imagine.
Sure, I understand, but you can take it from me, Mr. Meyer. Any of those beads of yours would be okay with the wife. I'll leave the rest to you.
I wonder.
Well, what are we waiting for? Oh, the clasp, maybe. Now, how about a nice little diamond and platinum?
On the contrary, I was not thinking of the clasp. Mr. Cordell, I do not wish to appear inquisitive, but are you what one might call a very wealthy man?
Oh, I guess I've worked pretty hard all my life, and now I've sure got plenty to show for it, if that's what you mean.
I asked because an idea has suddenly occurred to me, although perhaps a somewhat far-fetched idea, Mr. Cordell.
Oh, yeah?
2 weeks ago in Antwerp, I purchased what is indisputably the finest necklace in the world.
You did? Say, now you're talking, Mr. Meyer.
This necklace was made up to special order of an Indian Raja, as a present to his wife upon the birth of a son. Alas, the Rani died, and naturally His Royal Highness had no further interest in the necklace. Thus it came upon the market.
Sure, I get the idea.
It is the most perfect creation imaginable. It comprises no less than 61 rose-colored pearls, all perfectly graded. And believe it or not, Mr. Cordell, the center pearl weighs just over 47 grains.
That's pretty big, huh?
Big. It is unique in rose-colored pearls. Have you ever seen a rose pearl, Mr. Cordell? Under a strong light, it flashes, scintillates, almost like a diamond. Imagine a necklace comprising 61 of such gems. But there, I allow my enthusiasm to run away with me, and I'm forgetting the price. The price, Mr. Cordell.
Well, just how much is on the ticket?
The necklace is insured with Lloyd's underwriters for no less than £135,000.
Ooh, 100 and...
But even that is not the full value. It is underinsured. The premium, it was extortionate. Mr. Cordell, I could not accept a penny less than £150,000.
$150,000? Call it around $750,000? Say, that's an awful lot of money, Mr. Ma.
It's a priceless necklace, Mr. Cordell. There's no question that your friends in America would not sit up and let their breath out, all in a rush.
When can I see it? I take it you don't exactly keep that thing laying around.
Unfortunately, at this moment, the necklace is with my Paris office. I must confess that the chances of finding a buyer in this country seemed remote. I therefore left negotiations in the hands of my agents on the continent. However, if you are genuinely interested...
I sure am, Mr. Ma.
Well, in that case, I will arrange at once for the necklace to be dispatched to me here by registered post. Let me see. Today is Monday. I will write off to Paris tonight. It should be here in this office no later than Thursday morning.
Well, I guess I can hardly wait.
Until Thursday, then, Mr. Cordell. Shall we say about 11 o'clock?
Evening, Rose.
Hello, Alf. The usual point.
That's the idea. Gonna join me?
Well, not just now, Alf. I haven't long finished my tea.
Oh, well, there's no harm in me asking, I suppose. Faint heart never won fair lady, as they say. You're lucky, Rose.
Thanks. I need it.
You know, Rose, you're getting prettier every day.
So they tell me.
No, but I mean it.
Say, are you trying to be rude, Alf Ekman?
No, honest, I really do mean it.
I'll have you know, I lost 3 pounds of weight this last month.
And not only a figure, Rose. I'm a clumsy sort of cove, I suppose. I never was much around with the ladies. But what I'm really trying to say is, next time your evening off comes round, would you let me take you out then?
I'd have to think about that.
Oh, I know I'm only a road sweeper on the borough of Oldham, but I got a lot better suit of clothes than you ever seen me in. What's more, I got a bit put by.
Then you'd best keep it for someone with less expensive taste than Rose Carley.
Oh no, come off it, Rose.
You don't understand, Alf. I've been working here over 2 years now. The Robin Hood, Hatton Gardens, the very center of the world's finest jewelry. I've seen diamonds and pearls worth a king's ransom, Jane Jan's in that saloon bar, over a glass of whiskey served by me. I've even got to dreaming about jewelry. Stones that sparkle and flash from your neck and fingers, waking me in the middle of the night. And in the morning, what have I got to show
put things that way. Of course, if I was rich now,
Forget Alf, but you see what I mean.
all the same, diamonds and pearls ain't everything in life.
To a woman, they mean a hell of a lot, Alf. Drink up your beer. I've never talked like that to anyone before.
Maybe I'm the only road sweeper you ever saw fit to talk to at all.
No, you're being silly. I didn't mean it that way, and you know it.
Okay now, Rose, break it up. There's customers waiting to be served.
Oh, all right.
And one in particular, that fellow at the far end of the counter there. He's asking for you.
Well, it wouldn't do him any harm to wait. Oh, if it isn't Joe Morse.
Nice to see you again, Rose. Well, I've been about the place. You know how it is.
Pint?
No, I'll have a drop of scotch. A lager.
In the money, eh?
Oh, not all that much, I guess. Going to have it, Rose.
Thanks. Although I'll keep it till later if you don't mind. Was it you that couldn't wait to see me?
Well, I'm in a bit of a hurry, like, and I thought you might help me, Rose. Do you happen to know a bloke comes in here by the name of Dixon?
Dixon? You mean Ellery Dixon? The one that works at the Prince's round the corner?
Yes, that's the fella.
Of course I know. Why?
Is he in here now?
Yes. That's him over there, sitting under the window, nearest the corner, the one in the trilby hat.
Thanks, Rose. I'll be back. You got a match, mate?
I'll see what I can do for you.
One of them newfangled lighters, eh? Petrol, isn't it? Are they any good?
Well, when they work.
Well, that one seems to.
And mind your eyebrows.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Mind if I sit down? Just pull up a couple of inches. That'll do me. Your name Dixon?
Correct. I've seen you in here before, but,
You're an engraver, aren't you?
I've earned me living at it for 20 years or more.
And not much of a living at that these days, I'll bet. Now, how'd you like to earn a half a sovereign easy, eh?
Half a sovereign? Sorry I gave up backing horses years ago. It's a mug's game.
No, nothing like that. This is something right up your street. There's nothing in it. Just a couple of hours homework, do you?
Well?
Now listen, all I want is a simple monogram engraved on the end of this here bit of wood, so it acts like a die for sealing wax. You get me?
Morning, Mr. Meyer.
Good morning. Has the postman called yet?
No, sir, not yet.
He's late. I myself would have been here 15 minutes ago, but for a hold-up on the underground.
Mr. Cordell has already telephoned, confirming he'll be here at 11 o'clock sharp.
Good. Of course, I never had any real doubts about Mr. Cordell, a typical American millionaire. But it was just as well to follow up his credentials. All highly satisfactory.
Yes, sir.
I received a cable last night from Mr. Solomon. The necklace was posted at Paris Central at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It cannot fail to be here by the first delivery, and by midday, the deal should have gone through.
The biggest single transaction we have ever made, sir.
I don't mind telling you that for the very first time in my life, I feel that deepest reluctance in parting with such an exquisite treasure, even at a handsome profit. But there's no room for sentiment in business.
No, Mr. Meyer, I suppose not.
Until you see this necklace, you cannot be expected to understand how I feel.
Post!
There, the post at last. Quick!
Registered package. Sign, please.
Here, out of the way, I will sign.
Along the dotted line there, please, sir. That's the idea.
Give it to me quickly, please.
There you are, sir. A nice little packet of bonbons from Gay Perry, if I know anything.
You would be surprised, my friend.
Oh, not half, I'll bet. Good morning, sir.
It's arrived. Who could believe that in this small, insignificant package there would repose the most perfect set of pearls in the world? Lock all the doors and come through into my room.
Yes, sir.
Most beautifully packed and sealed. But then my good friend Solomon would never do otherwise. Quick, the scissors. All these seals. Thank you, that's it. Better? Ah, I'm glad to see he has retained the Morocco leather case I bought for the necklace. That cost me 800 francs alone. Now, Oh, my good friend Solomon has taken the extra precaution of wrapping the pearls in the newspaper.
The Echo de Paris, sir.
No doubt he thought it a better way of protecting him in transit. But why? What is this? Where are the pearls?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. 11 lumps of sugar.
French sugar and no necklace, not a sign of my pearls. Is this a joke? No. Robbery, that's what it is. I've been robbed. Call the police. Call the insurance companies. God in heaven, someone is going to pay for this.
You're quite certain, Mr. Meyer, that your Paris office is...
Absolutely above suspicion, Inspector Cameron. I tell you, Mr. Solomon himself sealed and handed this package in at the Paris Central. Mr. Solomon, why, I would as soon suspect the Postmaster General of England.
And yet you say the seals were all intact upon arrival here. That is the authentic seals issued by your Paris office?
Exactly. That is the mystery. That's what's utterly beyond my comprehension. Yet...
I suppose there's no question about the seals being genuine.
None whatever, Inspector. Look, you can see plainly enough the monogram M.M., Marcel Meyer. Identical sealing dies are used both in my London and my Paris office.
Yes.
In fact, here is the actual die.
Thanks. Have you a magnifying glass handy, Mr. Meyer?
Certainly. Here.
Thank you.
Eh?
I thought so. The wax seals on this wrapping paper are not secured by a die exactly similar to this one, Mr. Meyer.
What? But this is impossible.
The monogram MM is there plain enough, but there's a strong discrepancy in the way the two letters are interwoven. Take a look for yourself through the magnifying glass.
I can hardly believe it, Inspector. But, by heaven, you're right. This isn't the same parcel that Mr. Solomon handed in.
Oh, yes, I think it is. Furthermore, the original seals were of a bright red wax. You can still see traces of it around the string, whereas these seals are pale yellow.
Then...
Obviously, after Mr. Solomon had handed it in to the post office in Paris, someone opened it, took out the necklace, and then did the parcel up again very carefully, using a fair imitation of your firm's seal. Someone who knew the exact movements of the necklace and had planned the whole thing in advance.
Some villain disguised as a French postal official. Hence the lumps of French sugar wrapped in the Echo of Paris.
That could have been a blind. The newspaper, 3 days old. The sugar? That could have been brought over here in advance.
You mean you suspect our own post office officials in England?
Now the two? No, but we have to consider things from every angle. At the moment, we're in close touch with the Sûreté in Paris. Exhaustive inquiries are already on foot, both sides of the channel. Now, how many people in London besides yourselves knew the pearls were about to travel?
No more than a few of my colleagues in Hatton Garden.
But news of that sort soon gets around. What about,
my clerk? She has been with me over 15 years. I can vouch for her absolutely, Inspector.
And that goes for this an American client.
Mr. Cordell, out of the question, Inspector, I had already satisfied myself of his bona fides beforehand. No, if the culprit is indeed to be found in England, then I guarantee you will have to look beyond Hatton Garden.
And by way of a start, we'll have these seals photographed and reproduced in all the newspapers. That's just a chance it may bring results. Meanwhile...
Mr. Brock is here, sir.
Oh, yes. Ask him to come in at once. You know Mr. Brock, Inspector, the assessor to Lloyd's underwriters?
Oh, indeed I do. He and I have worked on more than one case together in the past. In fact, I was half expecting to find him here on arrival.
Come in, Mr. Brock, come in.
Sorry I couldn't get here before, gentlemen. I've only just left a meeting at the underwriters, and there's another one called for 5 o'clock this evening. This has come at a bad time, Mr. Meyer. I don't mind telling you. It's caused a minor panic in Frenchard Street.
And what about me, Mr. Brock? I must point out that your people were only too eager and willing to accept an exorbitant premium.
Which was fully justified, by the looks of things. Any clues, Inspector?
No, practically nothing so far, except that the package was open, anywhere in the route between Paris Central Office and this address. The necklace was taken out, and the seals replaced with a die that could have been copied either in London or Paris. But it's early yet, and I'm still waiting a full report of investigations by the Charette.
And in the meantime, £135,000 of underwriters' money is...
Believe me, Mr. Brock, I would far sooner see the return of my pearls than your company's check.
Precisely, Mr. Meyer. And that's what I'm here for. But we've got to work fast. Now, as I see it, Inspector, the necklace at this moment could be either in London or Paris. Assuming the theft did take place at this end, the next move would be to get the pearls over to the continent as quickly as possible. But to try it on today would be running too big a risk. But the channel ports are being watched.
Of course.
I'd say we have about 48 hours grace. That is if the necklace is in England, as I very much hope.
You have a plan, Mr. Brock?
The only possible plan. But I shall need your cooperation, Inspector Cameron.
Well, let's have it.
By this time tomorrow, every dealer in England and the continent will be wise to that necklace. It can never again be sold as a complete string of graded pearls. Therefore, the only hope is to break it up and negotiate the pearls separately.
Break it up? Break up that superb
Which
necklace?
alone would reduce the normal market value of the pearls by at least a half, whilst the fence wouldn't give more than a few hundred apiece, knowing the risk. Am I right, Inspector?
Yes, go on.
We've got to get those pearls back before they can be scattered over the continent. And there's only one way to do it.
The reward, eh? That's been done often enough, Brock. You ought to know it seldom works.
And why not? Because the reward was seldom big enough to bait the trap.
Well?
I don't know how many fingers are in this pie, Inspector, or whether they're a bunch of English crooks or otherwise, but I have advised the underwriters to offer a reward for £10,000 and no questions asked for the return of the pearls intact.
10,000?
It's the highest reward ever given by an insurance company. But what is that compared to the loss of 135,000? I tell you, it's the only way, and we've got to work fast before it's too late. By tomorrow morning, every leading newspaper in Europe will carry a full spread announcement. You'll cooperate, Inspector? Remember, this could be our old friend, Max Sylvester.
Haven't lost sight of that fact. £10,000, eh? By God, that ought to bring some of the rats from their holes.
£10,000 reward? Blimey, someone's going to be lucky, eh, Rose?
Well, I don't know. If you ask me, I don't think they'll ever get their pearls back.
According to the paper, there's a final argument going on between London and Paris, with the police and the post office all mixing it. Each makes out that the robbery was the other's responsibility. Yeah. It even says here that the Entente Cordiale is seriously threatened. Blimey, fancy all that fuss over a few oyster petals. Beats me.
Oh, you don't understand, Alf. Pearls like that are very rare.
Must be. But would you know a genuine rose pearly if you saw one?
Well,
Nor me. Come on, let's have another pint. One of these days you'll come down to earth, my girl. You never know what. You might even find yourself saying yes to Alf Hickman, a road sweeper on the borough of Albury.
We've checked up on every postal official that handled that parcel, Inspector.
And what about the fellow who actually delivered it?
A youngster, if that's anything. But he's got a clean sheet like all the rest of them. Oh, there is one thing, sir, for what it's worth, in the overseer's diary.
Well?
It seems that a few days ago, a Mr. Simon Hassett of 102 Hatton Garden put in a request for the morning mail to be delivered direct to his office on the top floor, instead of being handed in at the caretaker's lobby.
Simon Hassett.
A dealer of sorts, I understand, sir.
By no means an unusual request. However, we can't afford to let anything slip. Better check up on that, Sergeant.
Right, sir.
Meanwhile, who's this fellow you say is asking to see me?
Gives the name of Dixon, sir. Henry Dixon. He says it's important.
All right, I'll see him at once.
This way, please.
Now sit down, Dixon. No need to be nervous. We shan't eat you.
You may change your tune, sir, when you hear what I've got to say.
Well?
It's about that picture in the papers tonight. The one of the wax seals with the monogram MM.
And what about it?
I recognize that monogram right enough because it was me that done the original engraving.
You did? Now look here, Dixon.
But I done it in good faith, like many another private job. And you got to believe that, sir. I'm an honest working man, respectable, with a wife and family. And that's the truth, sir. Of course, if I'd have known I was aiding and abetting.
And yet you say you don't know this fellow's name.
I never asked it. I'd seen him in the Robin Hood once or twice before, but he hasn't been in there again since, not to my knowledge.
And not likely to for some time either, if I know anything. Damn it, this puts a different complexion on things. What's more, it's the first time we've had that job was done in English soil. All along, I've had in mind an international gang of sorts, but now, Sergeant, this could be Max Sylvester after all.
Beginning to look like it, sir.
Meanwhile, there's a whole day gone by, no word from Brock. Tomorrow's Saturday, and if those pearls are still in this country, I suppose all you can tell me, Dixon?
Yes, Inspector, except that,
well,
there was just one thing, which may or may not be of any help to you. But when I met him in the bar the following evening and delivered the goods, he took a leather purse from his pocket to pay me the half-sovereign. He seemed in a bit of a hurry to get away. And it wasn't until after he was gone that I saw a slip of paper lying on the table, which must have fallen out of his purse. It only had a few words scribbled on it, but I put it in the overcoat pocket thinking I'd give it to him the next time. But now, here, that's it.
Thanks.
I make it out to be Pharaoh Houston, and then the number 304.
Our telephone number, sir.
Possibly, although there's no Faro telephone exchange. And I doubt if the Houston number runs in a series of 3. All right, Dixon. Thanks for coming forward. I won't have the Robin Hood watch because it might stop this fellow from showing up there again, and there's always that chance. So from now on, keep your eyes skinned.
You can count on that, Inspector, and not only for my own satisfaction. To see them pearls restored to their rightful owner means a lot to me. I used to be in the trade, so to speak. Engraver I was, to a West End jeweler's, so I know quite a bit about it.
Avenue 31549, Brock speaking.
You are Monsieur Brock, the insurance assessor.
Yes, who is calling?
You offer a very handsome reward for £10,000, I think, for the recovery of a certain pearl necklace.
Yes, you know where it is?
At 3 o'clock this afternoon, the necklace will be entrusted to me for conveyance abroad.
3 o'clock this afternoon. Where? Where can I meet you?
No, not so fast, my friend. I do not entirely trust you, and still less do I trust your English police. I also run a grave risk of personal danger in betraying my colleagues.
I can assure you that we shall carry out our promises to the letter. The necklace has been broken up.
Wait, but all 61 pearls are intact. Now listen, I meet my friends at 2:30, when the pearls will be handed to me. At precisely 3 o'clock, I shall enter Aton Garden from the Auburn end. I shall be wearing a white carnation, and I will keep to the left-hand pavement.
Yes, I've got that.
At exactly the same time, you will enter Aton Garden from the opposite end and start walking towards Auburn on the same side of the street, wearing a red flower in your buttonhole.
A red flower, yes, go on.
At that hour on Saturday afternoon, there should not be many people about. If you are accompanied, or I suspect a trick of any kind, you will not see me or your pearls.
Rest assured, I shall be entirely alone.
That being so, then you and I should meet one another halfway along Atton Garden. But just in case any of my colleagues should be following me, you shall show no sign by word or gesture of recognition. Is that quite clear?
Perfectly clear.
You will, however, ensure that the right-hand pocket of your overcoat is easily accessible, and in passing, I shall drop it 2 of the pearls, together with instructions where you will bring the money in exchange for the remaining 59.
I understand.
But remember this, my friend. 1 inch of treachery, and you will never see those pearls again. Until this afternoon, then, monsieur, at 3 o'clock.
Just a half minute to go, and scarcely a soul in the length of Hatton Garden. You won't let me down, Inspector? You promised not to try trailing him?
I'm giving you just 1 hour, Brock, to see this thing through. After that, you can't expect us to remain idle. Good heavens, man, the reputation of the entire Metropolitan Police Force is at stake.
And with me, it's a little matter of £135,000 of underwriter's money. I tell you, this French frog is as windy as they come. At the very first sign of anything, he'll have jumped the nearest rooftop, taking the pearls with him. What's more... Aha, there we are. This is it. From now on, for heaven's sake, you and the sergeant keep out of sight in this doorway.
Can you see anyone yet?
Not yet. There's rain on the way, too. Wait a minute. Yes. Someone's just turned off from Holborn. Walking this way, and... By Jove, yes. He's wearing a white flower of sorts. Well, here goes.
And good luck.
No, it's all right. Come back, you fool. Come back.
All right, now, take it easy.
Let me go, you confounded idiot. Oh my God, it's too late. He's in Holborn by now. Not a hope of ever setting eyes on him again.
And that's what all this is about? A breach of peace, eh? Creating a disturbance?
All right, Constable, I'm captain of the yard.
Oh, good afternoon, sir. I didn't know this gentleman was...
Well, what happened, Brock?
What happened? Everything was going fine. Not a soul in sight, except a Frenchman. I was within 30 yards of him when, suddenly, the whole 24 hours of the day and night, precisely at 2 minutes past 3, this afternoon, a foot-slogging policeman has to enter from Hatton Garden from a side street. Obviously, any other got scared and suspected a trap. On the instant, he turned and ran like a scalded cat. He had too big a start. Even if the pair of us had chased him, by now, we won't as much hope of catching him as a ball in the mid-Atlantic.
Too bad, but there's still a chance. We might nail him yet.
How in heaven's name?
If this fellow will speak for the job of taking the pearls abroad, you can bet he won't risk it today after this. And from now on, I'll have every passenger on every boat, train, checked to the back teeth. The Frenchman will know that. Meanwhile, he'll be lying low, biding his chance. Somewhere in London.
As easy as that. I tell you, that French fraud, as well as the pearls, was lost to us forever the moment he turned the corner back into Holborn.
And yet a foreigner. I bet you didn't think of trying to trace that telephone call this morning.
The telephone call. I traced it all right. It was made from a new agent shop in Euston Road. But you don't think that fellow left his name and address behind.
Euston? Now wait a minute. Take another look at this. Farrell, Euston, 304. There isn't a telephone number like that in existence. What's more, we've checked the whole directory for a subscriber by the name of Farrell with a Euston number. But maybe this isn't a telephone number at all. Maybe it's an address. The foreigner's got to stay somewhere, and Farrell's could be the name of a hotel.
At 304 Euston Road. By Jove, Inspector.
The address where the seal engraving was to be delivered by Dixon's friend. Oh, it's long odds, but well worth it. Sergeant, hail cab, quickly. There we are, Hotel Ferru, a glorified boarding house. We're right after all. Now take it easy. If there's anything to this, we can't afford a second slip-up. Come on, Brock. Sergeant, you hang around in the porch, but keep out of sight of the windows. Tell the driver to move on a couple of blocks and wait.
Right, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You gentlemen are wanting rooms?
No, I'm a police officer.
The police? Thought so. Well, I can tell you there is nothing wrong with my...
Now, keep it low, will you? Now listen, have you got a Frenchman staying here?
A French... We have people of several nationalities.
One in particular. I don't know his name, but, well, describe him, Rock.
Tall, slim, a small dark mustache, I think. Wearing a fawn-belted raincoat, a black hat.
That could be Monsieur Lafarge.
Lafarge, eh? Is he here now?
He has just checked out.
You mean he's gone? We're too late?
I mean, you're only just in time. Monsieur Lafarge came in less than 10 minutes ago.
Yes, that'd be right.
He seems, how you say, much flustered and in a great hurry. He asked for his bill and went upstairs to taxi. I have the bill here. Wait, this must be him coming down the staircase now.
Quick, behind the curtain, Rock.
I don't believe it. We couldn't be so lucky.
All right, Mrs. Just carry on normally.
I'll have you know my hotel is respectable. Nothing like this has ever happened before.
You have the addition ready, madame.
Here, Monsieur Lafarge. We are so sorry to lose you. In such a hurry.
Most regrettable, madame. I assure you that...
It's him, all right. Come on.
No!
No, stop, I want you!
After him, quick!
Sergeant!
Right, sir, I've got him. Now, take it easy.
Oh, nice work, Sergeant. Quick, the handcuffs. By heaven, he nearly slipped us a second time.
Let me go! I don't know what you say. You're making a big mistake. I am a French subject.
We know all about that, and right now you're in the hands of the English law. The game's up, Lafarge. Come on. First, where are those pearls?
They don't appear to be in this suitcase. He must have them on him still.
We'll soon see about that.
No, I tell you.
Come on, you may as well save us the trouble. Which pocket? Come on!
He will kill me for this. Max Sylvester is behind it after all I tell you.
So, Sylvester is behind it after all. I guessed as much.
You must protect me. Promise you will protect me when he knows I have betrayed him.
You're safe enough from Sylvester now. The pearls, man. Where are the pearls?
You searched me in vain, gentlemen. I have not got your pearls.
The lying hound. Strip him to the skin, Inspector.
No. You waste your time, gentlemen. Valuable time.
You had those pearls half an hour ago. If you haven't got them now, who has? Max Sylvester?
You will never believe me, gentlemen, but it is true. I swear by all the holy saints, the pearls were, all 61 of them, in a loose package in my pocket. I made every preparation to hand the 2 samples to your agent in passing. And at the last minute, I see a policeman in the distance, and I suspect a trap. I see it all quite plain. I will be caught red-handed in possession of the pearls, and...
Yes, go on.
As I turned and I ran, I threw them away.
What?
It is the truth, I swear. If no one has already found them, your pearls will be there. In the gutter, in Aton Garden.
In the... Ye gods. How much more of this torture? Taxi! Hey, driver, quick!
I'm taking it straight to the station, Sergeant. I'll join you there later.
Right, sir.
I must see for myself if there's a word of truth in any of this.
He must have been here just when the consul first appeared on the scene. And it was only a matter of seconds before he turned and ran.
I'll say another 5 paces forward in that direction. There's no sign of anything along here.
Which means we can start from here and work backwards towards Hallberg. Thank heavens for this rain. It'll have kept the people off the streets.
You say you crossed over the road at some point.
After running for about 30 or 40 yards, but for that fat-headed policeman, I might have actually seen him empty his pockets. That is, if this whole thing is the cock and bull story.
Whichever way, it's less than a 50-50 chance. You work back along this pavement as far as the point where he crossed over and followed suit. I'll carry on to the bottom and work back. along the opposite curve. Ought to cover it.
Not a sign of anything. Which means either the Frenchman was lying,
Or else someone's beaten us to it. It's a good hour ago, anything could have happened.
I'd like to think it had. At least there'd be a better chance of...
Great heavens, look! Huh? You're on the very edge of that drain in the gutter there. Careful, it's only lodged. It's the curve. Now careful, Brock, or you'll lose it.
All right, I've got it. A rose pearl!
Oh, my God, the fellow was telling the truth after all.
But the rest of them, the other 60.
There's only one logical answer. This rain, the gutter's flowing like rivers. I'm afraid you'll have to face up to it, Brock.
They've gone down the drain.
Beyond all possible hope of recovery.
I can't believe it. There's something in the Bible about casting pearls before swine. But to think that fate or the devil or both should send 135,000 pounds worth into the sewers of London, never to be seen again. What am I to tell the underwriters? You suppose they're going to believe a story like that?
I'm sorry, Brock. You've done your best. No man could have done more. But this is about lets you out, I think. My job has only just begun.
Well, my dear Hassett, by now the pearls are in mid-channel, and within a week we should receive payment from Amsterdam. Thanks to my organization, I think we can congratulate ourselves.
Yes, if you're absolutely certain we can trust Lafarge. I still think you should have kept him in sight all the way along the line, Sylvester.
Lafarge has neither the brains nor the nerve to double-cross.
Not even for 10,000 pounds?
A tempting bribe, I'll admit. But my agent in Amsterdam will pay twice that amount, to be split between the three of us. What is a few odd thousand as the price of betrayal? And not only that, Pierre Lafarge knows me well enough. If he has more respect for his own skin.
Well, let's hope you're right.
Come on, dear Hassett. You are a victim of beginner's nerves. But believe me, you will never regret the day you tipped me off about the pearl necklace. Oh, to have an ally in Hatton Garden itself has been my ambition. I look upon this as the first of many such undertakings between us, huh?
Yes, of course.
Now, what time is it?
After 7 o'clock.
And being a Saturday, my bookkeeper is out. Therefore, you shall come and have dinner with me at this little restaurant in Soho. A new discovery of mine where I guarantee you will sample the best cooking in all of London. Double take.
Lafarge's code ring. Lafarge is at the front door. Something's gone wrong. I knew it. I knew it.
Wait here. What in? Why? Inspector Cameron.
All right, Sergeant, straight through. You others stay with me.
Is this another search warrant, Inspector? Surely the disillusionment you suffered a few months back.
I remember telling you then that one day there would be a final count. This is it, Sylvester. You're under arrest.
Arrest? Of course. I can always appreciate a good joke, Inspector, but don't you think this is going a little too far?
I charge you with being concerned, together with Simon Hassett of 102 Hatton Garden, and a Frenchman, Pierre Lafarge, in the theft of a pearl necklace, the property of Marcel Meyer.
I've got him, sir. This'll be Hassett. Come on.
Let me go. I've done nothing wrong. I'm innocent, I tell you.
This is monstrous. I demand to see my solicitor at once.
Well, there'll be all the time in the world for that, but he won't be able to help you, Sylvester.
You haven't a shred of evidence.
On the contrary, the whole case is tied up in a bag. As so often happens, the plan was clever, but absurdly simple. Hassett is a dealer in Hatton Garden, and almost a bankrupt one at that, got to know that the necklace was being sent to France immediately for Lafarge. Hassett requests post office to deliver the mail direct to his office onto the floor of 102, instead of leaving it with the caretaker. So it happens that the postman's rounds in Hatton Gardens brings to 102 first, before delivering at 88, which is Marcel Meyer's office. And on the morning before the pearls were due to arrive, the young postman was met in Hassett's office by a remarkable pretty girl secretary, engaged by the three of you for a special purpose. Exactly the same procedure took place on the morning the necklace arrived. And the rest pretty simple, I think. This girl kept the postman fully occupied while she fumbled in his bag for the registered package. Handing it secretly to Hassett and Lafarge, it was a matter of a few moments before they had opened the parcel, extracted the necklace, and substituted lumps of French sugar wrapped in the Echo de Paris to make it look as if the job had been worked on that side of the channel. This done, the package was resealed, using a sealing die especially engraved for the purpose. By the time the postman resumed his rounds, the fake parcel in his bag was an exact replica of the original, all bar one item. Whereas the sealing wax used by Miles Paris' office had been red, the seals upon delivery were pale yellow. We searched our office this morning, Hassett, and found, among other things, sealing wax of the identical shape.
This is a fantastic story, concocted by the police to suit their purpose.
Ah, you forgot, Sylvester. There was a reward of £10,000 for that story. And for the very first time, one of your worms turned.
Lafarge. I had forgotten you gave Lafarge's ring at the doorbell. Why, the dirty, rotten...
Quick, he's gone!
I'll get him! I'll get him! No one can do this to Max Sylvester!
The handcuffs! There, take it easy. No diamonds on those bracelets, Sylvester, and they suit you all the better for it.
I'm not through yet, I tell you. I'll get even with the pearls! That rat sold you those pearls for a beggarly £10,000.
I don't have to tell you, Sylvester, what it means to me to have you in custody at last. Oh, it may be equally gratifying to you to learn that no human being will ever set eyes on those pearls again. Your trusted friend Lafarge threw them down the drain at Hatton Garden at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Ha! You expect me to believe that?
All bar this solitary pearl, which fate mercifully spared by way of proof.
What? Then it's true? It's true?
Well, I don't know what the commissioner is going to say when he sees this report. Reads like something out of Sexton Blake.
Anyway, we'll be sending Sylvester down for a few years, sir. That's the chief thing.
All the same, I can't help feeling sorry for the poor Brock. So near and yet so far. Oh well. Let me answer that, Sergeant. I've had about enough for one night.
Inspector Cameron's room? Who? Right, put him through. It's Dixon, sir, the engraver.
Maybe that fellow is showing up again at the Reuben Hotel. All right, I'll speak to him. Hello, Inspector Cameron here. Yes, Dixon. How's that? What? You're absolutely certain? Yes. I remember you saying you once worked at a jeweler, but... Good heavens, I don't believe it. Now, listen, go straight back to the bar. Just carry on as though nothing had happened. I'll join you soon. Sergeant, get through at once to Brock. He'll be his private number at this hour, of course. And then to mine. Tell them both to meet me outside the Robin Hood in Hatton Garden just as fast as they can get there. I'll see you later.
Right, sir.
Well, I'll tell you something else, Rose. They got Mary Pickford in Tesla Stone Country showing at the local picture palace next week. What about it, eh?
Talk of persistence. Anyway, you're most thoughtful. I will say that.
Oh, I know it would please you, Rose. I only wish it could have been something better. Something... Oh, what's all this?
All right, everybody stay where you are. No one must leave. Now, Dixie.
There you are, Inspector. Just take a look at that young lady behind the bar.
Come on, Mr. Meyer.
Aye, what's your idea?
My pearls, my rose pearls, tied up with string. Give it to me at once.
Take your hands off me.
Yes, I'll be you unless you want...
All right, take it easy. What's your name? What's your name?
Rose Carley. Miss Rose Carley, I'll have you know.
You're under arrest.
Arrest?
And I'll take that necklace you're wearing.
You'll do nothing of the sort.
You're darn right you won't. Now look here, what's all this about?
Who are you?
Alfred Hickman, the name is. Occupation road sweeper on the borough of Holborn. I'm telling you, you got no right.
Road sweeper, eh? You gave her those pearls?
Them ain't pearls, Governor. Just pink beads, coloured glass. Someone chucked them away in a gutter this afternoon, and I swept them up. Finding's keeping, see? Now buzz off, will ya?
Alf!
Eh?
The gentleman arrived. These must be...
Pearls, comprising the finest necklace in the world, stolen from me the day before yesterday.
Blimey, I don't believe it.
This is the most incredible piece of luck. How many are still missing, Mr. Meyer?
Oh, I have already counted them. There are 60 pearls strung together here, which, with the one you found this afternoon, Mr. Brock, completes my necklace.
Is it possible? I must advise the underwriters at once, before I wake up.
All right, Hitman, this about clears the pair of you.
Of course, if I'd have known.
Wait a minute. There is a order for those pearls.
Yes, that's right. 10,000 quid.
And it was you that found him, Alf.
Well, kind of.
What about that inspector?
Well, I've no doubt you'll get quite a bit of it, Hitman. It's a matter between you and Lloyd's underwriters. I shall want a written statement from you, of course, in the morning. Meanwhile, next time you find anything lying in the road, remember that.
What glitters is often gold, eh? Don't worry.
I'll see you in the morning.
Blimey, I'm in the money. I'm going to be rich. Come on, everybody, drinks all round. The good old barrel of Well, what's up, Rose? I reckon you're looking as glassy-eyed as MPs.
To think that for a few hours I wore pearls worth a king's ransom.
And didn't even know it, eh? Are you satisfied now, Rose? That fine jewelry is just something extra in life. Something that don't really matter. Leastways to people like you and me.
Yes, Alf. I'm beginning to think you're right.
Of course, after this, I'll be able to buy you a nice little set of sparklers. You know, not too posh, but, well...
Alf?
Eh?
What did you say Mary Pickford was showing in at the Alhambra next week?